right, guys. This week we are back and we are reviewing our one of our most anticipated movies of the year, Spider-Man: Across the Spider-Verse, directed by Joaquim Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. Great trio. Starring Haley Steinfeld, Shamik Moore, Oscar Isaac, and a lot more. But you can look that up yourselves. Just an incredible cast. In case you don't know, it's a sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but here's also a plot synopsis. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting his very existence. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. Non-spoilers right now. First couple minutes. Where do y'all want to start? Just get it all off your chest.
I've been bumping that
That's the
soundtrack all
best
day, dog.
movie to date.
What?
Definitely the best Spider-Man movie to date.
Definitively agreed.
100%.
Okay, bitch, don't say anything.
I think it's second.
What do you think is
first one,
first?
right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're crazy. I think this one's better.
I don't think this one. I understand why the first one's better. I want to put the second one there, but I don't think it can be there without a definitive ending. Like,
Yeah,
I think you would
okay.
almost have to group 2 and 3 together as one because this one didn't have like a big climactic, like it just kind of stopped, you know.
I guess that's where I'll bring into my very little cons, but my few cons is that this really does feel like a part one of part two. It can't stand on its own as a movie.
Well,
with
it is a
definitive
part one.
ending.
Right.
Well, yes,
That's
of
what we're
course.
saying.
But the big example that I kept hearing was Infinity War. Infinity War was a part one, but it felt like a complete
Like,
it could have
it
ended
had
there.
an end. It had
Yeah,
an ending.
it could have ended
This one
there.
really didn't have an ending.
Yeah.
By
I
the
mean,
time the end comes, it feels like Act 3 should start already.
But
mhm.
that wasn't because the writing was bad or the story was bad.
We're not saying that.
Well, they did it intentionally. You know what I mean?
For
Well,
sure.
We're just saying it just makes it weaker.
I think it would have made it weaker if it just didn't end off strong. But I think the ending was okay because of exactly how abrupt it was. Like, it was completely like, movie's over. You know what I mean?
I also thought, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I also thought the ending, the last 20 minutes was really fast paced, which is totally fine. But at the same time, there would be bits and pieces like where the pacing was like a little dragging a bit, to where those 3 different times I thought it was going to end like, oh, it's going to end right here. And then it keeps going. And I'm like, oh, I guess not.
I never felt that.
I want to go back to why I think this ending doesn't affect the movie, because when you look at the ending of the movie, say you look at the last 30 minutes, right? If the last 30 minutes is weak, then yeah, it's a weak ending. If the last 30 minutes is strong, it's a strong ending. And it was strong all the way up into the very, very, like, it was strong all the way through. You know, it just ended.
I agree. It was strong, but
It
felt like a really good first act and a really good second act, but it never had its third act. That's why we were saying was hurting it. It didn't. It didn't. It never. It climaxed and then it just stopped. It never had the back half of that story.
Oh yeah.
We can talk about this more in spoilers. We
Shut the
move on
fuck
a
up.
bit. You got any more cons or anything you don't like about it? Because there's a lot of pros.
I only had one con for the whole movie, and it was, this isn't really a spoiler. When he was, I guess, running from the other Spider-Man,
Mhm.
he shouldn't have been able to get away, because
Wow.
it's like all of these experienced spider people that have been doing this for way longer than he has, not a single one could catch him. There was like all of these guys at once, and not even one of them could catch him.
This
That
is in the trailers, so it's not a spoiler. But only one that needed to catch him was 2099, bro. He's that dude.
But it's
He
the
didn't,
fact
though.
that none of the others did.
I think it fit, bro. I think it leaned into the story point actually about Miles being just like this special little like
Well, I agree.
existence like on his own.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it worked, and I think it worked because he's the only Miles Morales. Everyone else is Peter. So like, yeah, he's different, but it's still just like, could he really escape? But he shouldn't have actually escaped. That was
he literally did. He did.
He shouldn't have been able to.
Well, as far as we're concerned, too, he's the only one with the electricity powers used against him. So I mean,
and the only one that can go invisible.
But yeah, he didn't use the invisibility and electricity until the end. Like, he was still out swinging everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No more. He's experienced by the time the movie starts.
You're gonna get into spoilers. Let's just move on.
But that's my con. Is that's the only part of the movie that kind of took it away from me, because I'm like, oh, he shouldn't have been able to get out of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like plot armor a little bit, but
other than that, so everyone's gonna say it. I think I'll just say it for all of us. Obviously, the visuals, the transitions, the different animation styles are like dazzling. They're stunning. This is probably they're literally changing this generation of animators and animation studios. They're changing the game, the genre, by using layered 2D animation over 3D animation. Not just that too, but they're also like using a bunch of overlays. Like, they're just doing an incredible job of bringing out the creative vision of all these different animators under one studio. And honestly, they've actually really set the Sony Animation, because they did this with Spider-Verse. They've done this with really all the movies that are coming out. Mitchell's versus the Machines, they did that with that. They're really changing the bar. The bar's pretty high now for a lot of animation studios to catch up.
It is. Like, after this, it's crazy. My biggest example that I think of when I think of like the animation and everything is specifically in Gwen's universe, when the background kept changing, completely different backgrounds, different colors, different patterns, everything was changing, and it felt like the background heightened what they were talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, heightened the dialogue, the emotions, like the colors and the vibrancy of the backgrounds and everything just heightened everything else that was in the scenes.
And literally, it's not just that; it's every single world. The fact that it's a multiverse, they can change every single world style. Like, especially, I actually literally just read like an hour before we started recording that that Spider-Punk, he took 3 years for them to figure out how to animate him.
Really?
Which makes sense because of how unique he is, style-wise, stylistic-wise. Mm-hmm. But like, it's insane how big a part the art of this movie is. And every still shot, honestly, is a piece of art. You can probably screenshot any still shot of this movie, put it up as a painting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think what made it stand out is it almost seemed like the story wasn't happening in the environment or in a environment. The environment was helping the story. Does that make sense? Like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it just helps the story. It doesn't.
You can I get that. See why the sequel took so long. With like, they took the time, and I think literally I think every single character had their own like set style.
Yeah.
And it's even crazier that the next movie's coming out next year already. I mean, obviously they worked on them at the same time, but that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is crazy to think about. I actually also really liked because everyone's expecting a bunch of cameos, and there were a lot of incredible cameos, but they were not at all too flashy. They weren't like making an emphasis on, oh, this guy's here, oh, that guy's here, oh, look at the nostalgia, oh, let this boost the movie's narrative. They didn't do that at all. They just showed it from each corner of the universe, like, oh, this guy's here, oh, he's right there, like, casually, and I love that.
Like, it wasn't in the spotlight.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I love that.
What I was comparing it to in the theater was Multiverse of Madness. Is that the right movie?
Probably.
With the Spider-Man. Anyways.
What?
No Way Home?
Was it No Way Home? Dude, I don't know. I get them all mixed up now.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, I was comparing it to that because every cameo in No Way Home was like this big, huge thing. You know, they're all in the spotlight. And the cameos in this one, they just They let you know it was there, but then they just kept moving.
Yeah, that's what I liked most about it. But I don't know. But even then, the narrative was just too great. The writers deserve all the credit in the world. It's literally, I could probably say it's the best multiverse movie anyone's ever done.
No,
and
for sure.
I love the explanation of certain events and tropes that we'll get into, but I love how they all really connect with everything Spider-Man. Like, it really is a Spider-Verse.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was too much, like all the Spider-Man and everything. But then by the end of the movie, I was like, no, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I have two more things I was just going to say real quick. I think this movie is the perfect display of Spider-Man's powers. Like he uses everything, as web swinging, his spider tingling, the wall crawling. He uses it all, and it really shows you just how fast he thinks. In the middle of combat.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like how it would just slow down to show someone in peril.
And just like the way he was swinging around and just like dodging different things and going through different obstacles and using his spider sense and just even when they like stand sideways on a wall, like the live action movies, we only see him crawling. We don't really see him stand up like that. Just like simple stuff like that. This is like the best display of their powers, in my opinion.
And that's also one of the crazier things is Miles in this movie is struggling to balance his life. He's not really struggling. He doesn't think he's struggling, but he is struggling to balance his life with Spider-Man. Like, I took away from it, like, you can't have it all kind of thing. And that's what you're going to see. I'm sure the third movie is going to press more on it, but in this movie, you're going to really see that he's trying to actually do his own thing and try to, like, avoid certain scenarios that I can't say right now. But, but also to add on to that, which we haven't talked about, this was really Gwen Stacy's movie. She was the one. Yeah, because the trilogy is Miles, but I think this movie was really hers. And I think you can see that just by her character arc and just how she thinks and how she develops even towards the end with everything. I can't say a lot about it, but
I think she had the most development, but I don't think it felt like her movie. Like, it still very much felt like a Miles movie, but I think they're saving like his big character developments for the next movie, and to make it feel like they made progress, they gave you that with Gwen.
I'm not saying he's a side character. I'm saying it's like 45% Miles, like 55% Gwen.
I don't even think that. I think
from a story standpoint.
Maybe Max is like a 70-30, but it's not. It does not lean more into Gwen than it does Miles.
I think the first half, 100% leans into more Gwen, but the second half is like all Miles.
You just like the first 10 minutes were Gwen, and then after that it was Miles, and then like maybe like 10 minutes of Gwen at the end.
It's about his struggle with his personal life, like you said, and his Spider-Man life. And Gwen, the reason she's just a big part is because she's part of both of those lives.
Mm-hmm. But I'll explain it more in spoilers.
Okay.
She's the biggest reason behind where Miles is at in this film.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It shows her effects on Miles. It doesn't like encompass 60% of the movie.
Yeah.
Which also shows she has a bigger role to play in the film.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like a 70-30, not like a 60-40 going the other way.
Yeah, I don't know. Gwen's character, she's definitely the reason that the movie happened, but I guess we'll get into it.
That's all I got. Soundtrack phenomenal. Another incredible film by this studio. Never a doubt.
This one was some other Sony production.
Would recommend.
I'd highly recommend. I'd say go see it in theaters ASAP. Like, do not wait till it comes out.
Go watch that whole in IMAX, because
exactly.
Feel that.
Oh, I have a funny story to tell y'all, but I'll do it in a second.
Will you? That's it. Make sure you like, if you're on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You're on podcast platform, make sure to drop a review, 5-star rating if you can, or whatever you want. We love constructive criticism. Make sure you look links in the description for all of our socials. Our merch shop is open for the summer, of course. And make sure you say hi to your mom for us. We will see you later. But if you already watched the movie, you want to listen to spoilers, we will be right here, right now. Go.
I want to talk about, just briefly, I want to list the cameos that we saw to see if one of us saw one that the other didn't.
I didn't even take notes.
Yeah, I didn't. But disclaimer, I also think I need to see this a couple more times to really see everything. It's a lot.
The one that I wanted to point out to y'all, because I thought maybe you'd miss it, is did you see Miles' roommate was playing the Spider-Man game?
Yes, the PS4 game.
Funny. That was funny.
And then he showed up later too.
That was cool. I didn't expect that. Home Dog was just chilling.
Yeah. I saw a post about this. I didn't see this during the movie, but the Spider-Man popsicle was there.
Really?
What the fuck?
with the gumball eyes? Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
I also thought it was cool that they referenced Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because they're like, don't even get me started with Doctor Strange and that nerd from Earth, whatever. Did you notice that?
But he was the one they didn't actually show, though.
Yeah.
That I saw, and I haven't seen it.
I don't think they were allowed to show him. But they did show his Prowler. Donald Glover was there.
Oh, was that his Prowler?
Yeah, that was his Prowler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's how come Miles took like so much time looking at him. So he was like, "You look familiar."
Yeah, that's cool. They showed Andrew and Toby though.
It was footage, but yeah,
they fucking clowned on him, just sitting there crying. Their fucking Uncle Ben. This shit was funny.
And then there were more that I caught, but I only wrote down 2 others. It was the OG, like the original first comic Spider-Man. It was like the
1960 whatever, yeah.
And then the animated Spider-Man.
That came out of nowhere. It was weird.
They had the Drake Bell fucking Spider-Man there.
Really?
Yeah. He's a spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. You think Spooderman was there?
I don't know. I have to watch it again.
There.
Like, actually?
Yes, Spoods was there.
Where? You spotted him?
Oh, let me just
I mean, like you spotted
projection,
him.
Just...
If you remember.
Yes. He was part of the big chase scene, like right at the start.
Interesting.
I don't think they showed him chasing. I think he was just standing there when everyone was kind of staring at him.
Metro Boomin Spider-Man was cool.
It was cool.
What's the iron? There's like an iron suit, like an Iron Man Spider-Man. Who's that?
This armored
it's
Spider-Man?
red. It's from the game too.
The one with the gold?
No,
the gold arms.
No, it's red. Everything's red. The inside of his armor is like black highlights. I don't know. Anyways,
Scarlet Spider was there.
I thought it was cool seeing Ben Reilly there.
Yep. Andy Samberg, good job. All the voice actors did a really good job.
Yeah, they were cool.
They were cool. But even Mayday Parker, she was really cool with Peter.
That was sick.
It's cool seeing him have like a happy ending. But the whole premise of it is like the Uncle Ben dying tragic event is like someone's gonna die for you to be who you are, and for you to take the responsibility, see how hard the sacrifices are in your life. Or for Spider-Man. It's a canon event.
You know what's bad is, I know, Miles' journey is he's gonna prove him wrong. Like, he's like, oh, I can still save my.
That's what you think would happen. I have
my person, and the universe won't crumble. Like, that's his whole journey. But even in my mind, watching all these Spider-Man movies, I'm just like, no, Miles, just let him die. Like, I was siding with the villain.
Honestly,
no,
you're sold that they'll give Miles a happy ending. Like, with this franchise, like, they could very well just turn it on its head and have his dad die anyways.
Yeah, there's an interesting discussion online whether the Spider people are actually Like if Miguel's justified in saying that, like if he's like the villain, actually the villain or the hero.
I genuinely believe Miguel's justified. He's
I do
doing what he
too.
can. Like you saw that bad stuff does happen. Like
Yeah,
clearly, like universes end. He's trying to prevent universes from ending. He's doing the right thing. But I
and it's
think that
it's
since
literally back. It's proven. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
every single Spider-Man has went through it. Every single one, and the ones that haven't, catastrophe has happened. You know,
But the one
I
thing that's sorry, go ahead.
was gonna say even the Peter from the last movie and Gwen, even all them, they're like, no, Miles, we're not evil. This is how it has to be. You know.
But I think the conflicting thing though is he's he's not supposed to be Spider-Man, you know. So like that's why he thinks everything should be
that's
different.
That's a good
that's
point.
what I was gonna say. It's like I think if they do decide to, let him save his dad, I think that him being an anomaly in himself like opens his story up to be completely fresh and not have to go through that stuff. Like the way they told the story made it seem as if like he's his own person, like he's breaking all of the rules. Like he is
Yeah,
his one true like self.
he was the first anomaly, like
The
the
other
original.
Yeah, he's like the original, but like the other thing was his uncle Aaron already died. That was kind of his tragedy. But even then, like Andrew Garfield's uncle died and Grand Captain died, so
Well, that's what they were trying to hint at was like the police captain that you're friends with also has to die. Like there's like just things that are purpose beats, and the one that he's trying to stop is a police captain from dying.
Yeah,
Like that's the beat that he's trying to miss.
I think that's what's crazy about like all that information and like the ending is how the Spot's still out there too. Like they're worried about Miles, but the Spot's just growing more powerful as the days go by.
Well, it's because they know
that's a
they
good.
don't give a fuck about the Spot. They're like, we can stop the Spot, but well,
They
fuck that.
think
We gotta let the Spot kill Miles' dad before we stop him.
it actually makes me feel like the Spot's gonna do more damage to Miles' life than anything. Like he's gonna make it so much more tragic than it should be.
I love how they made the Spot menacing in this. Like
He was
I,
so great
I
villain.
love the way that they turned him from like goofy and couldn't take serious to like just a fucking universe ending level threat.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Well,
I love
because
the
he got
fact
hit
that he
by the
was the
fucking
fucker that got
bagel.
hit with a bagel.
Yeah.
I love that. That's who they decided to pick to be the villain, like the bagel guy.
The bagel guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
I really liked the Spot. I liked his progression, his development. It was
This
amazing.
is a downfall.
the only other thing I could say that I didn't get to finish earlier was just about how much Gwen was able to learn throughout this whole journey, throughout her well, in the beginning, her first instance, obviously she goes through her origin, she lost Peter, and then she obviously doesn't want to tell her dad about it, and then she goes to Spire Society, and then she learns all about, she's basically running away from that her own universe, and she's going through all of that, helping out with Miguel, and then finally gets to see Miles, even though she wasn't supposed to see Miles, and that pushes her more. And she even like hints at obviously her troubles because she's like, no, Miles, from my experience, like don't tell your parents like that you're Spider-Man. Like it's just like a terrible
Mhm.
thing. Like no good can come from it. Whatever. Even though her instance was very like very in the moment, like literally like
Yeah.
she had to tell him.
Mhm.
But anyways, she goes from this character that's very much like hesitant and like obviously like every other Spider-Man. The whole point is all Spider-Man go through tragedy, but like she ends up being aware in the end, which is where all her development, all her arcs come to a close, and which is why I think this movie was, at least with her arc, her character was centered, like the arc of the movie was centered on her character, was because it started her with her in the movie. It started an intro with her, ended with her because obviously her going to save Miles, but also her father finally saying like, no, this is like a great thing. I'm glad you told me. Like I chose you over the Force, and her showing and proving to herself and to others that like that you can tell them like it's not gonna end in anything tragic. Like it's actually a great thing if you tell your parental figures. And even in Miles' world, Peter told Aunt May from the first movie. May knew he was Spider-Man. She just helped him. So, and then obviously Miles did try to tell his mom, but that wasn't his mom. So
that was a really good plot twist. I thought I liked that.
There was a lot of hints towards it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do like how I think what they're doing with Miles to change it up is like there's like this overarching thing. Like if you're a real big Spider-Man fan, like a lot of interviews and stuff say like he's created to suffer. The point of the Spider-Man character is to suffer. Like that that's his story, is just pain and pain. Like he's not meant to be happy. But like I like how in this movie they're like almost trying to flip it and show it, like Miles saying like, no, we don't have to suffer. We can be happy. Like that's, I think that's kind of like what they're trying to play off of, like meta wise, you know.
Oh yeah, I agree. But with that first point, I think like the human element of it is like you see this person this hero suffering so much. He has every right, every instance to like not help others, but he still does.
Wait, I just thought of something. You know how Miles is special because he's not Peter?
Yeah.
What about Gwen or all the other girls?
He's not special because he's not Peter or Gwen. He's special because a spider from a different dimension came through, bit him on accident.
Yeah, that's fair. But he's also the only guy. Well, Miguel is.
Yeah.
But he's one of the only guy Spider-Mans that's not Peter. Besides, I guess, Miguel. I think.
And the pig.
The pig.
It's Peter Porker. He's still Peter.
Or Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Well, can you think about it? That whole team that's
Spider-Punk?
with Gwen. The whole team that's with Gwen, they're not. Most of them aren't Peter. I think just Peter B. Parker. Right. That's it. When you think about it.
Also, I did think of another thing a second ago. Remember the beginning of the movie when Miles told his mom in the meeting, he was like, "Oh, let me go to this school because they're learning how to go to different universes." And the reason he wanted to go there is so that he could go see Gwen. Well, now he doesn't have to. Now he doesn't have to go to that school. So, like, what was the point of that?
No, he still wants to. I'm sure he still wants to explore like actual like scientific research on multiversal transportation in different universes. He's just getting first-hand experience.
Yeah,
pretty much. Because you got to remember, most, if not all, Spider-Man, since they're just like they don't make money off of being Spider-Man, they need jobs.
Yeah, that is true.
What about? Yeah, that's a good point. But anyways,
that's all I got.
That's all I got. I thought I thought the ending was solid. It was very, very abrupt, but I liked it.
But I think this is where this is where it's gonna prop up the third movie. The third movie is gonna go right into it, and I actually have, this is just off pure prediction, I think the third movie is gonna be the best one.
I agree. And I think combining like watching 2 and 3 back to back, you're gonna get the best Spider-Man experience of your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very high chance that the Spider-Verse movies 1, 2, and 3 all end up being the best the top 3 goated Spider-Man movies of all time.
They more than likely will. Not even gonna front.
Like, it is a very possibility. This entire trilogy is just better than any other Spider-Man thing we'll ever see.
There's also just a lot more you can do with animation in that retrospect. But yeah, I agree. The narrative is just too good.
Do you think you're going to tie in more live action stuff into the next part?
No,
there's a theory, really quick. There's a theory that they're going to tie in live action Miles Morales with the Spider-Verse universe.
Oh, that would be cool.
Which would make sense if they want to get right into it.
You know what trips me out? Putting Spider-Man PS4 in that big main hub means playing Spider-Man PS2, you know, that motherfucker interdimensionally travels.
Wait, say that again?
Or he did.
That also means he's not the only version of Miles, because Spider-Man PS4 is in there, and the Spider-Man PS4 does have a Miles.
I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't put Spider-Man PS4 Miles in there just to throw him in there, but he's like, no, he's not ready for interdimensional travel.
He's not ready to see another one. I think they did it on purpose. That way it would feel like he's the only Miles.
I don't think the game Spider-Man is ready for interdimensional travel either.
Well, I mean, he fucking did, apparently, so.
Yeah, apparently.
Look, if the Lego Spider-Man had an integral role in this movie...
That was dope. That was dope.
Dude, that shit was fucking cool.
It was okay.
I thought it was cool he poked into that the cleric's from the Venom movie. He just pops into the convenience store and is like, you act like this happens to you all the time. She's like,
yeah.
Okay, what's your point?
She's like, whatever, I'm used to it, yeah.
Like, I get robbed every day, motherfucker. Just get out of here.
Leave me alone. But
you know what I really appreciate though? That no matter which universe it's in, it doesn't matter if it's the game or a show or a movie or anything, J.K. Simmons is always J. Jonah Jameson.
Always. The one as universal constant.
I love that.
As it should be, though, honestly.
Yeah.
He's like the king. No one else can play him.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Ratings. Let's look at ratings. Who would like to drop their rating first?
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Okay. Edward?
9.5.
Okay. And I'm giving it a 9.
I knew it.
I was between a 9 and a 9.5 for the same reason you were, Noah. Like, the ending just being the way that it was, like, it feels incomplete, which that's what they're going for. They broke it up into 2 parts for a reason. And I think that to be continued at the end is very comic book-esque, and it really fits the world. But sure. I feel like just not having an ending kind of hurts it a bit.
I think any other if it was any other movie and the script was just kind of average, I feel like that would be like a 6.5.
If it was what?
Like, imagine this was a Transformers movie. Imagine between, like, they broke Dark of the Moon up into 2 different movies, and this is how the first part of the movie ended. Like, it ended with the rocket going up into space and exploding, and that's how it ends. And it just cuts.
I'd be pissed, bro.
I would say Transformers, so
good for you, man. Anyway,
no, you're about to, motherfucker. That's what we're watching next week.
That's what you think.
No, that's what I know.
I won't be here next week.
Sure.
I'm gonna be sick next week.
Sure.
Yeah, anyways, me too. Actually,
make sure to like we said before, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, leave a review, 5-star rating on Anchor or whatever, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. Link to the description for all of our socials and our merch store. And say hi to your mom for us. We will see you next week.